Welcome back, Draft League. Um, I've returned. It's been a couple weeks, but we're here at a kind of a new headquarters location to review our game against the Dunsparces of the Depressed Variation. I just got done playing him, Mr. Wilfi. It was a pretty intense game. There were 3 games. Spoiler alert. And yeah, it's week 2 of season 7, and I'm just gonna jump in and start talking about the team. First up, we got a Sand Core up top here. Gigalith and Lycanroc. Wolfeye's team has quite a few Pokemon that are 4 or 2 times weak to rock moves, so I thought running Sand would be a pretty good idea, especially because he also runs a Articuno with the Hail setting ability. So that gives us a little bit of a weather control and hopefully a lot of one-hit KO opportunities with things like Rock Slide and Crunch. I think I only brought from Meowstic, but that might be important because Meowstic can kind of be a pain in the ass. Then we got a Swords Dance set on Lycanroc as well as a good old priority move in case we get a chance to set up or we need to do a little bit of a kill damage to something that's just barely hanging on. Next up, I decided to bring the Metagross this week. I talked about how good it was in my draft review, so slapped it on the team and gave it some good coverage moves. His team is also fairly weak to Psychic, so we have Zen Headbutt and then Bulldoze for some ground hitting moves and speed control, and then Rock Tomb is the same thing, speed control, but obviously his team has a lot of rock weaknesses. So that's that. Ronnie, we got a little bit of an interesting set here. We have Psych Up and then 2 damage moves and Heal Pulse. And it is another tanky set. The idea here was we're going to have to skip down here to talk about this, but the idea was to have Greninja Shadow Sneak Metagross, proc our weakness policy up there. And then after Greninja died, we were going to bring in Ronnie, Tapu Fini, and psych up those stat changes. So we would potentially have a +6 Metagross across all stats, if we get agility off. And we'd have a +6 Tapu Fini, or +4 if we only get the weakness policy off. But still super scary. It'd make Ronnie super strong, and we could hopefully just blow things up. Then, I guess I already talked about Greninja. So I'll just finish off with Schmott here, the super hyper mega offensive threat. Just running a Life Orb set with some damaging moves. Break down here. Because I know he has Meowstic, and in prep I was like, I better be prepared for screens or I'm not going to have a good time. Because screens can kind of be a pain in the ass, just like I said before. And then just some good moves on Kartana there. So we have 3 games to get through. I think we better start moving through them. First game, I see the team he brought. He has Dragalge, Moltres, Kingdra, forgot his name, Amoonguss, Meowstic, and Articuno. I was a little worried he would have Frostlass, which is the reason Lycanroc has Kenai, if you caught that in the team builder. I thought he was fast enough already, and I wanted to be have a plan if he had the evasion boost up with Snow Warning or the Hail Weather and Frostlass's ability, but he does not have Frostlass. So that was one thing I was kind of relieved about. But we're gonna start off with our little bit of a risky strat, our Shadow Sneak onto Metagross, inspired by Noah from last week, and we're just gonna start playing out our plan. So we're going to mat block with Greninja. It's going to actually block probably a one-hit KO move for Moltres there with Burn Up. We get that blocked. So that's pretty cool. And then we get a free agility. Next turn, we priority Shadow Sneak him. And his stats are up, although he does have a screen up. So now, those stat boosts are kind of just getting us on par with the screen. But actually, if I'm right, screens only do like prevent a third of the damage in doubles. I might be wrong, so I think it's helping us more than it is just getting us on par, but regardless, we're going to throw a Rock Tomb out, and we miss. And it is 95% accurate, which hurts, but we've seen that happen before. It just happens sometimes. So it was unfortunate, but, you know, what can you do? He's going to Hurricane, Greninja, survive with Focus Sash, and then next turn, we hit the Moltres with Rock Tomb, almost kill it. We're going to taunt the Meowstic, and Burn Up is going to knock out Metagross here. So kind of sad. He didn't do as much as I thought he would. If we hadn't missed that first Rock Tomb, I think we would have been able to KO Moltres. And Metagross might have just swept after that, but we'll never know. So I swap in with Tapu Fini, and he's going to make a switch to Amoonguss, which is probably a good idea. He was taunted, so he couldn't do much. We're going to Ice Beam Moltres away, and then Dragalge comes out. So I don't know if he didn't bring Light Screen or if he just couldn't get it up because of the taunt, but having taunt on Greninja might have saved us there. I guess I could look at his pace later, but for now I don't know. I'll just assume the taunt saved me from a Light Screen. So we're able to two-hit KO Dragalge there with double Ice Beams. And Greninja's just going to get knocked out by Amoonguss. He had 1% health. He's going to Helping Hand Amoonguss. His offensive threats are kind of gone, so I'm kind of in the clear for this game. But Amoonguss can still be pretty scary. But we're just going to chip away at him. I think we 3-hit KO him here. He's a thick boy. Yeah, he tries to Spore us, but it's not going to work on Kartana. And we're just gonna hit him, bonk him on the head. So that's the first game. I was pretty happy. Other than missing the Rock Tomb, of course, that kind of skewed my perception of how good this map block, like Shadow Sneak, weakness policy setup was. But even with the failed like missing move, it worked really well. So I was really happy with that. But moving on to the second game, we decided to switch things up a little bit. I throw my Rock Core out right away, thinking I haven't seen Articuno yet. It might have, still might have Snow Warning regardless of him not having Frost Glass. But that's not what happens. He actually brings Rain Dance on it, knowing that Gigalith is slower, so I will have Weather Priority. And then he's going to manually set Rain the second turn. So pretty smart. It definitely hinders my ability a bit, or a lot. Gets his Kingdra where he wants it to be. And he's actually going to go for, what move is that? Focus Energy. So he's boosted crit, and he can't miss, I'm pretty sure, with that. So things are going to play out. He's going to Free Dry Tapu, but it's so bulky, doesn't matter. And then he Surf, he kills his own Articuno, but also gets rid of my beefy boy. And then we're almost gonna kill the Kingdra. Lives on, what is it, like 4%? 6%? Yeah. I thought I had our free kill here, but I kind of forgot Rage Powder existed. If I had clicked Rock Slide, we would have been able to kill the Kingdra, I think, but Lasso did not. And that is just a wall of text. He surfs and kills both my Mons. And then I throw out Tapu Fini, but there's no way this thing is going to get through 3 different Pokemon. So we're eventually just going to get chipped down. Actually ends up killing his own Amoonguss there. And at this point it was basically GG. He crits me, doesn't matter. We do get a kill, but then Dragalge kills me anyway. So that game, we learned a couple things. We learned he is running a Rain team despite not having a ability Rain setter. But once he gets it up, that Kingdra is so scary. The Dragalge is as well running a Thunder and Rain. That's quite the thing. So into the third game, I'm thinking, okay, he's already seen this strat, but I think I have to go with my strongest play and just do the Metagross Greninja. We're not going to bring the Rock Core. He has a lot of good resists to it with Amoonguss. He's just so fat that none of the Rock types Pokemon here are going to do anything to it. So if he brings it, he basically walls those 2 Pokemon. So we're just going to go with our team from the first game and the same starting set. But we switch it up a little bit. We taunt his Amoonguss right away instead. choosing not to take the mat block opportunity, and I think it worked out pretty well. We get a kill turn 1 with Psychic Headbutt, Zen Headbutt, and he's down as one of his offensive threats right away. So that's pretty good for us. We're gonna switch into Tapu, expecting like a Flame Charge or whatever the move Moltres has is, and we're just gonna start chipping away at Moltres. One thing to say about this Greninja set is, while it's really useful, the utility is really good. If I'm not map blocking and I don't have a good target to taunt or anything, he's kind of not great in this matchup. Ice Beam isn't doing that much to Moltres while he has Fire typing on, and kind of just a sitting duck. But we do a little bit of damage with him, or a good chunk, I guess. And then he dies, which is okay. Kartana comes out, and he's got both the birds in. We're gonna hit it with Knockoff and almost kill it. And then I actually live a Flame Charge, which is super surprising. I guess just Kartana's defense is pretty decent. And he doesn't have Fire type stab anymore. So we're gonna 2-hit KO that thing. I almost did split attacks, like one move going on Articuno, move going on Moltres, but the damage rolls were close and I wanted to make sure I killed it. So while I am a little sad that we got it to 1% on the first hit with Schmott here, I'm glad we doubled into it. It's never a bad thing to be safe. We're just going to start chipping away at his mons with some super effective moves. Kartana goes down because his special defense is non-existent. And then Sakura is going to come back in here. Throw a Rock Tomb at the Ice Bird. And then this Amoonguss, it just does not have the offensive power to blast through the rest of my team here. So we're going to be able to take this game in a 2-1. Some pretty intense games. I was definitely sitting on the edge of my seat. And there were a lot of twists and turns this game against the Depressed Dunsparces. Wilfi played really well. I'm excited to see what he does the rest of the season. But that is all I have for you guys. So comment your favorite set down below in the comments, and tune in next week where I film the episode with Cardi B. See you guys.